Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, I was working on stuff on the other. Get ready to go live on TikTok too. Hey, Katie. How are you? I'm trying to be more excited and awake. If you saw my video on TikTok, you'll understand why I'm struggling right now. But yeah, we'll see how well my brain does today. It's a struggle bus day today. I, in the grand scheme of things, I'm doing well. I posted a video this morning. I have someone who I consider a little sister who is in Nepal right now. And if you don't know, there's been some absolutely insane flooding, flash flooding going on in Nepal. And no one that I know, including myself, has been able to get in contact with her. So that is kind of where my brain is today. So if I seem out of it, I apologize. Me too, Troy. Me too. Hey, OC. RFK Jr. is claiming Shapiro is lying about the 2 losses from measles in Pennsylvania. I wish I were surprised about that. You know, in the video I made, though, the other than obviously being worried for her and her family, the other thing that came into my mind the whole time was, this is what parents have been feeling every time something happens at a school. Like, it's hey, July. Good morning. How are you? Guys, if you come in on TikTok, please tap that nose. It helps push things forward, helps push it to more people. The faster we can get to 10K, the faster that the more people will come in. The unknown is rough. Yes, the unknown is very rough. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for joining. I'm okay, and you? I'm if I'm being honest, I'm struggling today. Um a someone who I consider a little sister is living in Nepal right now, while and we have not been able to get a hold of her since the news of the flooding came through. So that's what my brain is doing. It did look like something out of Hollywood. Hey, Kimmy. Hey, Nico. And you know, there's a lot of people that aren't. 300 and over 350 people have confirmed to have already lost their life, and another uh, in the thousands are unaccounted for. So, thank you, Carolyn. I hope so too. I hope so too. How is everyone else doing? I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate you giving of your time and your money and your selves and your spirits and all that other stuff to be here and hang out. I thought that it was AI the first time I saw it. That is how absolutely wild what happened was. When I saw the video, I could have sworn if it didn't come from Reuters, the video that I saw, I would have assumed, like I would have straight up still probably assumed that it was. I appreciate you being here, Troy. And I hope you have a good vacation. What's your plan for vacation? And it didn't help that I was also actually pissed about a different story that I'll be making a video about too. But the news, there's this a news story came out where a civilian engineer was graped by a naval captain while she was on board a Navy ship, and it was dismissed not because he didn't do it, but because the judge said she was acting in her official capacity as, you know, at the time she was on the ship, and it should be treated as workman's compensation. So that's the other thing I've been thinking about today, was that story. So my brain's kind of been all over right now. Pissed about or scared about what's going on in Nepal, and absolutely like furious that anyone could do that. Guys, if you're over here on TikTok, if you're any of those 29 people, please tap that nose. It really does help. I know it's annoying sometimes to tap, but it does help push this out to more people. You know what, Kimmy? I think only all that does is make it worse. I wish I could say that it wasn't somewhat like this before, you know, the Orange Cheeto came into office, but it was. It really wasn't. It wasn't any different. It was just probably hidden more. Now it's just like out in the open. Which is frightening in its own right. And by the way, July, thank you so much for the hand heart. I appreciate it. Thank you for everyone that's joined the fan club and is liking right now. It means a lot to me. Thank you for those that are sharing. Sarah, thank you for sharing. Well, Emma, it's a good thing I don't care what you think about my IQ. Literally could care less. Especially right now. I could care less normally, but today, that's even more true. Thank you, guys. You guys rock the house. And I mean that. If you haven't gone and watched the episodes that I'm releasing over on the tube, please do. There's a lot of amazing people running for office that could use the visibility. I've had the great honor of interviewing some actors that are just doing some amazing things right now. that could use support because they're dealing with AI taking their jobs away. So every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. I hate that the videos that are not me just bashing someone who made a stupid video don't go as far as the other videos that I do. Like it's almost it's actually almost infuriating that I can make a video that has more value to it and it won't go as far as one where I just bash someone's dumbass comments. I have reached out to them. Yes. I have not heard back from them. I'm sure a lot of people are reaching out to them right now. So, and I unfortunately am not that big of a name. I'm a decently sized name, but I'm not a huge one. And people with that kind of name recognition tend to go for huge podcasts. Unless someone's got an in. If someone's got an in, I'll take it. But I have tried. Are we all up in arms about the Jeffries Kushner meeting, like so many others I've seen, without knowing why they met? You know, I struggle to be mad about it, Philip, and here's why. Jeffries and Kushner are being exactly what Jeffries and Kushner have been for as long as we've known them. And I struggle to get upset about it because I struggle to see a majority of the country caring enough to actually do anything about it. So it feels like getting angry is just hurting me than it is actually getting anything fixed. So that's where I'm feeling about it. Hey, Jelly, good morning. How are you? Thank you for the heart. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, the Akeem Jeffries, Jared Kushner meeting. Yep. Good morning, Mustang. Probably had secret meetings before. Oh, it's definitely possible. Good morning, Miriam. How are you? Sorry if I seem out of it today. We talked about it right at the beginning. Someone who I consider a little sister is in Nepal, where the flash flooding has happened, and I have not been able to get a hold of her in the last 2 days. So my brain is struggling a little bit right now. Hey, Kelly. Me too. Me too. Me too. from everything I know, she wasn't, I don't think where they lived was near where the flooding happened, but thank you, Annie. But it's still frightening when you can't get a hold of them. Like it's not even coming up as red. Like I'm not even getting the text coming up as red, which is probably what makes it worse. Did Cory Booker meet with Jared Kushner? I don't know. I don't know, obviously. Honestly, Jeff. I am not sure who all Kushner met with. We had our same with our family in Spain with the wildfires. Thank you, Miriam. I appreciate you. Like I said, it just makes me realize that what people who've, like parents who've had kids, go through, like what's happened in schools. It's made me realize what they go through. This is the first time that I've gone through this to this level. Like I've heard like hurricanes go through the area where my parents live, but like I was never really worried. Not like this. This is the first time that something has happened where my brain really is like really comprehending someone who is family no longer being with us because of something that happened, which is just wild. Unless foreign service in Nepal. Yeah, I mean Nepal is a very poor country, so which makes it worse. For sure. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, non-useful. Thank you guys for the gifts. Thank you. I appreciate you. Texas has its own disaster problem too. Yes. Yes, they do. Like there's disasters going on everywhere, which isn't helping things, right? So not only we have all these natural disasters, like literally not only all over the country, but all over the world. So it came out, it's basically been suggested now that the flash flooding in Nepal happened because a glacier literally fell into this valley and caused it. Thank you, Mel. Appreciate that. But yeah, you know, not only are we dealing with all these natural disasters right now, you know, we're also dealing with a president who is just an idiot. And an administration that's just an idiot. Like I have no confidence that this administration has the capabilities of dealing with anything that's going on. Natural disasters, the economy, the government, none of it. So that doesn't make it any better. But there's also part of me that's like, it could be worse. So it's tough. It's tough. It is tough. But MAGA says global warming isn't real. Yeah, they do like to say that. They do like to say that. Thank you, Miriam. I appreciate you. Do you guys have another interview today? I know you guys have multiple interviews like this week. Tomorrow. Gotcha. Yes, threatening to demolish the Kennedy Center. Again, sailing bags that are being recalled because they might have shards of glass in them or something like that. Sophia Soto. Gotcha. Well, I look forward to seeing that tomorrow. Fiberglass. Yeah. Hey, Meme. How are you, my friend? Hey, Jeremiah. Good morning. Like, I almost wish it was the evening when like all of my friends who I talk with who are non-political are not like at work or still asleep. Because it would be so much better to talk about things that aren't political right now at this point. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I joined. I followed it, and I will be putting something. I will be spreading the word out on that. Yes. I've learned not to fully buy into the polls, but it's hard not to get excited for the midterms from what I've seen. Yeah. Can jump in on micro for a few? Sure, Miriam.
Hey,
Good
Mike.
morning.
What's up, my friend?
Oh, you know, same old crazy, just a different day.
Always, always. Yeah, no, like we decided, so our page had been originally made through one of our girls' backup page.
Yeah.
So we decided that because we were growing so fast that we wanted to do it as an actual business page.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what we did last night. And like all of us girls, I don't think some of the girls didn't even go to bed. Like they're still awake. I went to bed at like 2:30 or whatever. So, but yeah, so we're hoping to build everything up again before we have Miss Sophia on tomorrow, which we're really excited for.
That's awesome.
Because have you seen Study Buddy yet?
I have not.
Okay, it's on Candy Jar. You need to watch it. It's with Sophia Soto and Noah Andre, and it is Miss Sophia's very first vertical, and she
Wow.
knocks it out of the park. Like she's just amazing in it.
You have to
Um,
talk her up getting on my podcast too.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Billionaire CEO, you need to pop into ours and, like Amber does, shake your ass.
Ah, is that what it is? You don't want to
Yes,
see me
that's
shake my ass. That is not something you want
when
at all. Can confirm.
absolutely, sir. No, 100%. With that green hair, 100%.
Well, I don't have the
Don't
green
worry.
hair anymore. What's up, Captain?
Yes. 1 second, Mike.
So yeah, if anyone's on here that happens to be someone who likes vertical micro dramas, which I didn't even know anything about until I interviewed an actor who is in them by the name of Lawson Grayson, who has started a business to kind of counter AI in verticals. And now I've just gotten to know all the people in the community, and they're just such awesome people. And now I'll take anyone, but I'm all about lifting up those women because they work their butts off, and
Oh, yeah, they do. Even the guys do.
the guys do
Hello.
too.
I
But
mean, you
let's
weren't
be
in our
fair.
lives.
Let's be fair. I've heard plenty of stories where some of the guys, not all of them, I know there are definitely some that work very hard at their craft, but there are some
Were
that
you in?
that don't even know
Were
their
you in there
lines. They're there
yesterday?
to take off their shirt just so they can show off all their muscles.
Well, absolutely. That's part of the whole point.
I understand
Come on,
that.
Mike. Come on.
I understand
But
that.
no, were you in the live when Luke
Yeah.
popped in?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you saw his setup. You saw
Sure.
he's doing his hustle.
Absolutely. No, there are definitely some very cool dudes that work their butts off. There's no question whatsoever. But also I'm saying more in the, when I say that girls get it harder, it's more on the, from the producers and the directors, like they're held to a much higher standard than the guys are, like looks wise, everything. And that just pisses me off, person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when the guys can literally just take off their shirts and it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 1 second, Mike.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting, world to that I didn't know existed. It's literally like walking into a new world of people. Hey, Caddy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I have actually been a fan of verticals since really they started back in 2023. So I've seen some really good ones and some really not good
There's
ones.
some really bad ones.
There's some really bad ones, but
I
you know what? That's part of the charm of verticals. Like
Well, I mean,
that's
in the end, they're no different than any other movie. There are good movies and there are bad
exactly
movies. It's just
exactly.
verticals kind of take it to almost a new level of
Yes,
like there's
abs
really no goal in verticals for any level of reality. Are those the
oh,
ones that are on
absolutely
TikTok
not.
all the time? Yes. Like TikTok is actually producing their own verticals now too.
Like there are so many apps, like even new
So
apps that are
many.
coming out, like Superlab. There's this new app called Superlab that has not even hit yet. That's supposed to be coming out, and they've already produced verticals. So give me 1 second. I'm at work,
Yeah, yeah.
so I'm doing multitasking.
Yeah. Sounds like the new B movie. No, it's not quite to a B movie level. The people that are in it are like, it's more like you're taking good qualified actors in general and just giving them and taking real life to a kind of a little extreme. Like B movies are just are just idiotic. Like the whole like it's almost like B movies, they almost try to make it a quality movie, but because they can't spend any money, they just don't. And they just throw it together. But I've been using those interviews to get rid of the stress lately. They have been very helpful for me too. They have been very helpful for me too. To interview people and not have it just be about the dread that is the world is nice to experience. What's up, Scott? How you doing, buddy? It's a good break. And like I said, these are capable, smart, intelligent actors. And you know, everyone needs a breather from politics these days. Yes. And the crazy thing is it all started because there was an overlap with politics, because you know, AI is taking away these actors' jobs now, because instead of making a vertical that would, you know, employ, you know, however many 10 to 30 people, whatever it is for that shoot, it would employ the one person, two people, whatever it takes to create an AI video. So even they're struggling with it now.
All right. So I'm multitasking. I'm working. But yeah, no. So outside of uh Shanna and Lexi and crud, what was the first one you were talking about?
Lawson?
Lawson, thank you. I was like, I wanted to say Lennox. I was like, that is not right. Lawson, who, who else have you seen? Like,
Who else have
what
I
verticals have
seen?
you seen?
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen
Have you
all.
gone down the rabbit
Oh
hole?
yeah, I've gone down the rabbit hole. I've
Okay.
seen all of them. Sophia, what are their
Which
names?
Sophia?
Um,
Sophia DeLucci?
I think so. The one who won an award at the Verts this year. I think that's her name.
I think that was Sophia DeLucci. I
Um,
think she's worked with Hunter Cole a few
yeah,
times,
yes.
probably. Okay. Okay,
Emma
that's her.
Rose. Um,
Okay.
um, well, who else? Who else? Aaron Orcutt, Kirby
Okay.
Elwood,
Of course, Miss Kirby.
of course. Um, Tons of others. Like I said, I've definitely gone down rabbit holes on these people.
All right. So male actors, who are you liking?
You know, it
Is it the
there
guys that kind of make you struggle a little bit?
there's one that makes me struggle. I don't know his name. I cannot
It's not
remember.
Mr. Evan Adams,
No,
right?
it's not Evan Adams. No, or it's not Noah either. Don't worry. Um, it is. He plays a mafia boss. He plays mafia bosses a lot.
Oh, honey, that could be a
I
number of people.
I know, but he plays it. I feel like he plays it almost exclusively.
So, are we talking real short? Are we talking drama box? Like,
I I'm not that far into it. Give me a second. I might be able to answer that.
because mafia guys, you've got ones that are um like Jesse Morales and Shay Deneen and um let's see who else. We got Jackson Tiller and see what other mafia guys we've got. Oh, there's a ton of them.
Okay. So Rhett Wellington.
Rhett Wellington,
I can't.
yes. So
I've
Mr.
heard.
Rhett Wellington.
I struggle with him. Something about
Okay,
his face just bugs me. I can't. I
okay.
can't do it.
So what have you watched of Mr. Rhett Wellington? Have you watched the Bound series yet?
I
With him
honestly
and
don't.
Savannah. So it's Bound by Honor and Bound by Love are the first two, and
I
that's with
think
him
I've
and Miss
seen some of
with
Bound
Savannah
by Honor.
Coffee. So that's with him and Savannah Coffee. Him and Savannah have done a lot of verticals together on Real Short. And the first one I ever saw with him was Lucifer's Bride, with him and Savannah. And that one was a struggle for me. I fully agree with you that there's just something about him in that particular movie that I was like, ooh, I don't know if this one's for me. But then I saw him and Savannah in Bound by Honor, and that made me change my mind on him. I
Well, and
really liked him
it's not that I
in that
think
one.
that he is bad at what he does. It's just I don't know, just something to. I'm sure he's a great dude. I just struggle every time I see him in one. I want to just be like, "Meow," and go watch something. I saw one that he was in with. Is it Kaylee? Kaylin? I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I think he's been in one with Kaylin. He actually just did one with Lexi.
Yes, that one. Obviously, I
Have you
liked
seen that
Lexi
one?
in it. I struggled with him in it. The only reason I
Okay,
finished watching it was because Lexi was in it. And
was in it.
I was
Okay.
gonna, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna finish watching this to support Lexi, but
Uh-huh.
I'm
That one's on my TBW to be watched. Partly because it's Lexi and Nick Malone. I really enjoy Nick Malone as an actor. I think he's really good.
mm,
Um, let's see.
Rhett has those transparent eyes. He just
Yes, he
he
does.
he when he's like, especially when he's doing like that mafia boss thing, he just his eyes are always like seem like they're like fully wide open all the time, and it's just like
And it's
he does crazy
the red
really well.
under
Yeah, they
eyes.
always have red, and it's just
Yeah,
it. I don't know. It
understandable.
is just not. It's not for me. I like Blake.
Blake Lewis,
I think so.
he plays a werewolf a lot.
Hold on, I can tell you
Or
because I actually reached out to him. I haven't heard back, obviously, but Blake Lewis, yeah.
yeah, so yeah, we've reached out to Blake Lewis. And then but Blake, we like Blake. Another if you're okay with Mafia, um, Chase Matson, he does the second half of the Bound series. So Rhett does the first two movies, and Chase is doing the second two. Um, one second.
Bruce Campbell is the king of B movies. They are wonderful films. He's a good actor. Yeah. I'm finally watching Andor. You're finally watching Andor? Jeez. It is a great TV series. I wish they did as many seasons as they originally talked about doing with Andor. Kind of sad that they ended as they cut it down to only 3 seasons. Good morning, Amber. How are you? I like that you guys are manifesting that I will be a CEO someday. That's nice. I wish, wouldn't that be nice? Just doing some manifesting for you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Isn't it incredible? It is. Andor is great. Andor is great. Trump's old and unfit. Truth. He really is. Really, really, really is. Miriam, I think I'm going to bring some people up and we're going to do our politics this morning. As much as I want to keep talking about this, I'll bring in my all my vertical talk to this evening stuff. So you're welcome to stick up if you want, stay up here if you want, but
No,
I'm
that's fine. I've
okay.
got to get to work.
Okay. I appreciate you coming up
But I
and
will.
talking
You're
about
very welcome.
non-politics things for a little while.
You are very welcome. Had to get you out of the little slump you're in. And
Yep.
again, like I said, me and my girls, I put
Appreciate you.
it in the chat already, and we are manifesting that she will contact you soon.
Appreciate you.
You're very welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye, hun.
Bye. Out of the funk enough that I feel like I can function a little bit more than I could. It was bad. Like if you look at the video, like my eyes are just like because literally for like hours from when I woke up and I messaged the second time and it still doesn't say delivered. That was all. Like I was just wandering around the house. That was all I could think about.
Well, that was a very moving post that you made, Mike, and I wish I had words to comfort you, but there are no words to comfort you.
Nope.
I just pray and hope that you hear something soon. But you're going to be in pain until you do, and that's understandable.
Yeah. Yep. I thought it was hilarious that Trump came out and said that that a deal is done, and then Canada came out and said talks are happening.
Well, I answered. I think it was Linda. I tend to think that if anybody is going to blink, it's going to be us.
Oh yeah.
For a couple of reasons. Number one, Trump always tacos out. Secondly, the issue with the trade war is not who has the bigger economy, not who has the higher population. It's who can put up with pain better. The Canadians are united, and Donald Trump has a 32% approval rating. So you can do the math there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Trump is horrible at a lot of things, but one thing that he has been just at is bringing together enemies in other countries against us.
Oh, Donald Trump is indeed a great unifier. He's the best unifier the Democratic Party has, and he has unified Europe against us, unified Asia against us,
and unified Canada.
He kept saying America first. Perhaps he should change the slogan to America only, because we don't have too many friends left in the world. Let's put it to you this way. How the fuck do you piss off Canada? I mean, you got to work at that to piss off Canada. You got to really try to piss off Canada.
Well, it's just like, look, is it technically plausible in 10 years if we put in billions upon billions of more dollars that we could get like our aluminum, our own aluminum processing up and some of these other things? Sure, maybe. But right now we have 5 states that get tons of electricity from Canada, 22 that get some electricity from Canada. We get a vast majority of our aluminum that we use for everything from Canada. We get all of our potash from Canada. The wood that comes from Canada is about 100,000 times better than our own wood. That's why we use it. Like, it does, like, are there some things that we could do different? Sure. But to pretend that we can just snap our fingers and be able to function as a society right now without what Canada gives us is ignorant at best.
Well, and it's part and parcel of the package. Take a look at his sanctions on Iran, which he claims to be the biggest sanctions in the history of sanctions. Well, not really, because if you don't sanction China, you haven't punished Iran at all. China buys most of Iran's oil, and Trump isn't going to sanction China.
Nope.
Not with Xi coming here in September, and not with his habit of caving into Xi every single time they meet. So those sanctions are going to accomplish absolutely nothing because they're partial. You know, you're not sanctioning Iran, you're sanctioning nations that do business with Iran, but you're leaving out the biggest one. Oh, well, what's that going to accomplish? Nothing.
And then Bessent calls it the D-Day of sanctions. It's like, dude.
Yeah, the D-Day of sanctions. Somebody should explain to him what D-Day actually is, because he didn't know what Pearl Harbor was. Maybe he can figure out what D-Day is.
Oh my gosh. Like, and he understands that we got rid of a bunch of the sanctions already. Did those I don't think those got added back in. They just added new sanctions with this. Trump is not doing a great job. Trump, I've never seen a more incompetent and ignorant and just horrible leader than Donald Trump. Like, never. The man ran a budget deficit of $500 billion in 1 month. Literally the largest deficit, 1 month deficit to ever exist in this country for someone who supposedly was reducing spending.
Well, he hasn't reduced much spending. We have a $40 trillion national debt. We pay over $1 trillion a year in interest on that debt. And of course, when you're paying interest, you gain nothing for it. So we're taking $1 trillion every year, a number that will climb since we're not paying the trillion. We're tacking that onto the debt too. You might as well put it on your kitchen table and burn it for all you're getting out of it.
Yep. And again, do I think the only reason I think this administration is incapable of doing anything good is because I don't believe they actually have a desire to do anything good. Not because they literally don't have the capability, not because I won't admit something's good when it is. I don't think they care. I don't think they care about the American people. I don't think they care about doing what's right. I don't think they care about supporting. I don't think they care about anything. I think the only thing they care about is getting as much money and power as humanly possible before they're no longer in office.
Couldn't agree more. Look what he's done to the very people who put him in office. 80% of all the subsidies in the ACA went to red states. 30% of the red states' entire populations are on Medicaid, which is about to suffer from $1 trillion in cuts. He has taken the very people, the tariffs. How's that working out for the farmers? Buying Australian beef and not American beef. How's that working out for the ranchers? Bottom line is he's taken the very people who put him in office and he's kicked them to the curb like yesterday's garbage. And why is that? Well, there's a simple reason. He really is transactional. The man isn't running again. He knows he's not running again. He doesn't need them anymore, and he's abandoned them. He could care less about them.
Up until he decided to run, Trump was a registered Democrat, and I still hated his ass.
And by the way, Mike, there's adding everything that you said. There's also another reason why things don't get done right. He's surrounded himself with thoroughly incompetent people. Thoroughly. You know, if Marco Rubio is the star of your pledge class, it's Houston, we have a problem time.
Overwatch, you've never watched CNN in your entire life, first off. Second, again, he was a registered Democrat up until he decided to run for office. I didn't support him before as a human being, and I certainly never would support him for president, no matter which ticket he ran under. I don't care about the ticket. I don't care about the letter next to your name. BS. I don't care what you obviously you think it's BS. You lack humanity, empathy, and the ability to have a conversation with like an adult. You are a child. Children do not have the ability. You voted for Harris. Yes, I voted for a insanely competent, smart woman who has more experience than anyone to ever run for office in comparison to a grifter, cheat, pedo, rapist, felon. Yes, and I would again. I would 1,000,000 times over, no matter how much there may have been things I disliked about, no matter what things I indoctrination. You think it's indoctrination to vote for a lawyer who has experience as a senator and vice president compared to a rapist and felon? Excuse me? You're calling what I have indoctrination when dude.
With the facts in their face.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Overreach, let me ask you a question. You, as a pejorative, there's a word you can go look up. As a pejorative, you said that Mike voted for Biden. Okay, let's go with that for a minute. In 2024, the last year of Biden's presidency, the World Bank, which would know about these things, called the American economy the wonder of the world. Is anybody calling the American economy the wonder of the world now? Anybody? Anywhere?
What Biden did for 4 years. He got us out of a pandemic that Trump made about 100 times worse while he was president. And again, I did not vote for Biden in the primaries either times, if I'm being honest. I didn't vote for Biden in the primaries. I didn't want him to run. He wasn't my choice in 2020. I didn't want him to run in 2024. I didn't vote for him. But would I have voted for him compared to Trump? Absolutely. Because again, Trump is an imbecile.
He's literally grotesquely incompetent. And even if he wasn't incompetent, he's still stupid. He's a dumb person.
I'd like to add on the fact that him being a Democrat, I think it might have been an interview with Barbara Walters where he was asked if he would ever run. And if he would, what would he run as? And he told her outright he would run as a Republican because the Republicans are easier to manipulate.
Sure. Because he's a consummate grifter. That was a falsehood. You understand that there's video of these things, right? Like you understand that, or are you one of those people that think everything is AI that you don't like?
And remember, these interviews and videos were way before AI was even considered a thought.
Overwatch, let me ask you a question. Why do you think Trump consistently says he loves the uneducated and that the smart people don't support him? Why do you think he says that? And what's that make you feel about yourself?
Morning, Patty. And again, regardless of that, whether that statement is true or not, it doesn't ignore everything else that I've said that would 100% should make anyone be unwilling to vote for that man. The fact that he said on microphone that he loves being famous because he can grab someone in their private parts whenever he wants should have made him a non-choice for president. The NASDAQ? I love how you say June. Anyways, who cares? The NASDAQ being up and down doesn't help me or most people in this country afford their bills. It only helps wealthy people. It helps people that have wealth, who are the problem in the first place. My sister's BFF is there and you're scared. Yeah, I hear you, Marnie. I have someone who I consider a little sister who is in Nepal and have not been able to get a hold of them. So, a little rough. Again, the Dow doesn't help people that can't afford to live, that have no wealth in the first place. The only people that are helped by the Dow, because it's your 401k. I'm not retiring for another 20 to 30 years. What does my 401k matter if I can't eat and pay my bills now?
Being grilled by the DOJ oversight, but the Dow, you know what? The Dow has nothing to do with our legal system. Seriously.
There are people that are in our military right now that are getting things like SNAP benefits and stuff because they don't make enough money. Like,
Yeah, Overwatch, that's a interesting suggestion. Join the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force. I understand that. Get a pension. You do remember the multiple times Trump said that people who serve their country are suckers and losers. So what do you think our military are? Do you think they're suckers or losers? Because that's the only two choices that Donald Trump gave you to think. So what do you think?
And the abuse.
He absolutely
military-
did say that, Dave. There is video.
Yes,
Dave, he
Mike.
didn't say it once. He said it multiple times to General Mattis and to the Secretary of Defense and his Chief of Staff, General Kelly. In fact, when visiting Arlington National Cemetery, where the gravesite of General Kelly's son is, he said, "What was in it for him?" That's what your president said.
Mattis was a joke. You're a joke.
Mattis is a joke. Well, I'm sure he thinks highly of you. A four-star general, you're calling a joke. What a fucking idiot.
Willingly joining our armed services, knowing and seeing with our own eyes the kind of abuse that they are undergoing. Did you know that they've got a record high number of people that are asking to be discharged early, literally asking because of conflict of morals, questions about the legality of what we're doing.
People are leaving the National Guard because they're literally being stuck in DC for a year now, doing absolutely nothing but wandering around. It's not what they joined the National Guard to do. Wander around DC at the whims of the idiot in chief. You think I'm gonna bring you up, Overwatch? You got muted. Are you insane? I told goodbye. Yeah, no way.
Our enlisted brothers and sisters, yes, they sign a contract and they know that there is the possibility that they could get sent off at any moment for a war. But the thing is, this what we're going through right now is unprecedented. We started something that we can't finish, and our service members are being abused because of it, and it's gross.
Yes, when they sign on, the expectation is that the people in charge, the people, their bosses, the president, the secretaries of the different armed services are going to care for them and treat them well and treat them with the respect that they deserve as people that chose to serve their country, understanding that part of that possibility is they could lose their life for it.
And by the way, the National Guard in D.C., according to yesterday's Washington Post, has cost us so far $1.6 billion that we've wasted on that.
I mean, Bill, starting something without constitutional authorization, unfortunately, is not new for any president that has done that. Yeah, it's not okay, but it's more, it's the constitutional authorization thing. It, for me, just feels like an argument we make in order to, you know, get gotchas against the people that try and defend it, which I understand it, but it's more than that to me. It's, we do, like, they started something that was by its very nature completely inachievable, especially the way they were planning on doing it. Regardless, even if they did it the way that potentially could do it, it still wouldn't work, because we tried it in a smaller country with less extreme people. The Iranians, especially the Iranian regime, is way more extreme than anyone in Afghanistan was. Nah, you want Congress to vote. I didn't say I didn't want Congress to vote. I'm saying that being the argument that we use every time, just it's again, presidents have been doing that for a while. That's not an argument. That's not a winning argument.
Well, actually, Mike, most presidents have gotten congressional authorization for their use of force. Bush did, Bush 1 did, Harry Truman did. You know, even without a declaration of war, they got congressional authorization.
That's
Trump
fair.
is the
You're right.
Trump is the only president who has not gotten
That's
congressional. Johnson did with the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, and I think 64. This is the only president who hasn't gotten any authorization at all. Secondly, he hasn't gone before the American people and laid out his case for a war, which is vitally important when you're the leader of a democracy. A democracy that has a united people behind it is a fearsome force. A democracy where the people are not told why they're fighting, that becomes a weaker force.
Dems voted for Iran. Nobody voted for Iran. That's the whole point. I mean, what one senator did, but who's not gonna get anything. You have a friend who lives in Tibet that's being impacted. I'm sorry, Marnie. Or weapons.
But Trump said outright, if you vote for Harris, you will end up in a war with Iran, of all places. And it's like, so if we voted, you know, not we, but if you voted against that because you were worried that Harris was going to start a war, then you should be even more angry that we're where we're at.
Well, Megalodon, then you should have gotten more people to come out and vote in the primaries, because nothing's going to change unless people come out for that. We're not making any changes in the general election once the primaries are done. No, I've never said that what happened in Nepal is Trump's fault. They're two separate statements. That's why they're two separate colors. How long have we been at war with Iran? Since February? Is that when we went in?
Yep.
Since February.
We've
Do I
also seen. Go ahead, Mike.
do I believe that what happened in Nepal is a majority Republicans' fault here and conservatives' fault around the world? Yeah. Yeah. I blame the choices that they made to not do anything about global warming, because from what I read, it has been found that the reason for it was a glacier that broke off and crashed into the valley and caused it.
So another problem with this whole Iran thing is they didn't go in with a plan. They did not go in with a plan. And after what happened in Afghanistan and what happened in Iraq, you would think that they would understand what kind of terrain, etc. I mean, Iran has so many hidey holes that it could use.
Oh yeah.
So many hidey holes. You know, they didn't go in with a plan. They were like, oh, we're going to take out these things and that they'll just roll over. No, they are very proud people and they are trained. And it's like guerrilla warfare. Let's go back to what, Vietnam, Korea? Yeah, I think both. Yeah.
We have not been at war with Iran for 40 years. We stuck our nose in where we shouldn't have and have caused them to be upset at us for the last 40 years. Sure. It's still our fault. We started it. We are the reason.
Well, this was clearly a war of choice. Some wars are hoisted upon you, like the Second World War for the United States, and others are wars of choice. And this was a war of choice. Donald Trump has yet to articulate cogently our war aims. Various justifications have been given primarily for them: to get back the 970 pounds of enriched uranium, to end Iran's ballistic missile program, to effectuate regime change, and to end their support for their terrorist proxies, Hamas, the Houthis, and Hezbollah. We have accomplished exactly zero of those goals. And in fact, Iran now has de facto control of the Straits of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil and 20% of the world's natural gas flow. That gives Iran, for the first time, thanks to Donald Trump, a chokehold on the world economy. And that is a choke collar that they will yank on periodically for the next 25 years.
No, Chas, he lives rent-free in your head. Us talking about what the man is doing is not him living rent-free in our head. That man can't stop talking in front of a camera if his life depended on it. And 70 years altogether, yeah, we started this 70 years ago. It's still our fault. It's not their fault. Trump will not take care of the problem. He literally will not, and has not, and cannot. Trump is the problem. Trump is an extension of the problem. His mentality is the exact same mentality that got us into the problem in the first place.
And they have terminated or have had retire top leadership, our best people for, making, doing the plans, weighing the risk versus the benefits, advising the DOD on, strategy, et cetera, et cetera. Is this even a good idea to go over there? They got rid of those people. So we don't even have leadership.
Roro, yes. When the Iranians took the U.S. hostages, it's the U.S. fault. Everything that has come from when we basically overthrew their democratically elected leadership because we didn't like the fact that they were nationalizing their oil, everything that happened after is because of that choice. So yes, it is our fault.
Well, we interfered with Iran starting in 1953 when we did overthrow the democratically elected Prime Minister Mossadegh and installed the Shah, who was an autocratic dictator who then ruled until 1979 when Ayatollah Khomeini overthrew him.
And no, the Monroe Doctrine will not come back as a foreign policy. He may want it to, but it won't.
Yeah, Connor, you're right. The British had a hand in that in 1953. But it was our CIA who did it.
Before the United States got involved, Iran looked like any regular American city.
The Monroe Doctrine is not already in place. Like, not even a little. But wasn't Jimmy Carter president when Iran took hostages? Who cares who's president?
Yes, Jimmy Carter was president.
What is the president like? What does the actual president have to do with anything? It doesn't change the fact that everything that came after we overthrew their democratically elected president is just a trickle down from us causing the problem in the first place. If we had kept our nose out of it, none of this other stuff may have happened. In the end, none of us can say 100% it wouldn't. But regardless, we caused this. We caused the animosity. We caused the anger. We caused the problem by sticking our nose in where we shouldn't have because we were upset that they nationalized their oil. We will never be self-sufficient. Literally never.
Sandman says, why do you think we're at war with Iran? Well, that's pretty easy, Sandman. Donald Trump thought he would have a slam dunk like Venezuela. So he didn't do any planning. He acted precipitously against the advice of the Joint Chiefs and against the advice of the CIA.
It is straight up impossible at this point for the United States to be self-sufficient. Fully. Straight up impossible. Because of every choice that the war is not, oh yeah, it was over the second he started it.
This war is definitely over. We lost. Deal with it, Sandman.
Like they're already, like a deal has already been agreed to between Iran and Omar, whichever their name is, on charging fees for boats to come in and out. That's going to cost everybody more money.
The mere institution of these, quote, D-Day, end quote, sanctions that don't include China, so there are no real sanctions at all. What does that tell us? It tells us that Trump knows we can't beat them militarily anymore, so that's why the war is over. We're not going to go back to kinetic action, at least sustained kinetic action.
Jeremy, I don't think an official date has been set on that. The last I heard, they've just, from my understanding, is they've agreed to like the overarching plan. So Iran will be in charge of incoming traffic to the Persian Gulf, and Oman will be in charge of the outgoing traffic. But yeah, the war is it literally was over when it began. The second they chose to fight a battle the way they chose to do it, which is by its very nature impossible to get to actually succeed in what some of their stated goals were. Like, you cannot fully succeed in regime change in a country with only air superiority. It's literally impossible. It's straight up impossible. So the fact that actually happened means it was a loss from the beginning. And in the end, all we have there now is a regime that is more extreme than the former one. That's all we got out of it, is a worse regime. And all it's cost us is hundreds of billions of dollars and 18 lives and thousands of injuries. Yeah, he lost his family, which made him more extreme than he probably was to begin with. He was more extreme to begin with, and he is more so now because of what happened. And again, you cannot trust Iran all you want. I don't trust Iran. I don't trust Iran any more than I trust this administration. It doesn't change the fact that we started this war. All they're doing is defending themselves. Every action they have taken is in response to us sticking our nose in things again. You can't. Anyone who tries to blame Iran for anything they are doing is ignoring the reality that none of this would have happened if we didn't start it. Everything they are doing at this moment. Heck, some of the stuff they're doing that we thought they were going to do early on, they waited until what? Just like they didn't close basically the Bab el-Mandeb Strait for like months after I thought they were going to do it. I could have sworn they were going to do it before the summer, and they didn't. They waited until much later. What does being in briefings and plannings have to do with anything? We don't need to be in briefings and plannings to know, to see what's going on. What do you think? The president doesn't know what's going on. It's already been reported that he doesn't pay attention to briefings.
Yeah, the implication by that statement is that, well, you don't really know what's going on. There's some deep, dark, secret plan Trump has. There is no deep, dark, secret plan.
5D
it
chess.
doesn't exist.
5D chess, man. Come on.
When they won't even answer questions being asked by our armed forces subcommittees about what's going on over there.
Well, and the e-files not being front page news, obviously it's bad. I'd rather it be front page news still. It doesn't change the fact, the problem with anything when you're talking about news is they're all about clicks. And that's not going to bring in as many clicks as other things, so they're not going to put it on the front page, but it's still being talked about. It's still being talked about by the people in this country. I have conversations with people about it all the time still. So that is still something that is on people's minds. Is it on enough people's minds? I think that's an argument to say that it's not. But it is being talked about still. It has not been forgotten. It's what is on the news. Like, again, all they care about is something that'll bring in a click.
Yeah, the e-files aren't going anywhere, as we are going to find out once the Democrats take back the House in November, which it looks like they will. So they will be right back in the front page come November.
I think, I said it yesterday, especially with what's going on in Canada, I think the chances of Democrats taking the Senate even have gone up a little bit more. Like, I'm not sitting here like saying 70%, but I would actually personally, I'd go from a 50-50 to like a 55-45. Like I think
That-
every
That
dumb
sounds about
thing-
right. And in fact, the numbers back you up on that. It's about 55-45, which is close enough to a coin flip to call it a coin flip. But
Sure.
yeah, the Democrats have come a long way in a year.
But it's a direction.
Yeah, a year ago, they only had a 5 to 10% chance of taking the Senate. And now it's a 50-55%, whatever number you want to use. It's a coin flip, whereas before it was a slam dunk for the Republicans, and they've managed to squander that.
Yep. You haven't forgotten. Yep. Again, we talk about it. I put it up here probably once a week, and we make sure that we keep talking about it because it's not going anywhere in my mind. Because again, this is again, if we're talking how we fix the problems, fixing the problems requires us to come to an agreement that just something is bad. And we're willing to, and we, all of us, no matter what party we align with, whatever we are, we can agree that this is bad. And someone being a pedo is just bad. It shouldn't matter what, there literally shouldn't matter what iota of what party you are associated with. No one who has the level of association with the worst child trafficking ring, maybe in the in at least modern history, should be able to be in that kind of a place of power with no accountability. Nobody in those files should be without extreme scrutiny. I'm not saying that everyone in those files is guilty, but there should be extreme scrutiny. And accountability should be a thing. And until we can do that when it comes to pedos, rapists, felons, until we can come to an agreement that there are just certain positions that is just like that it's not okay in general, but it's especially not okay for someone to become like president of the United States. I mean, heck, we were talking about again earlier this morning. News came out that a civilian engineer was raped by the captain on a naval ship and took them to court, took the captain to court, and the judge dismissed the case, not because he wasn't guilty, but because he said that she was acting in her official capacity at the time, and it should be considered workman's compensation. That is not okay in any way, shape, or form.
I'm curious in that entire case why the military code of justice isn't being invoked here.
This was there may be something going on the military side, but this was a civil lawsuit.
Yeah, I know that. I'm aware of that. I'm just very curious as to why we haven't heard anything
Gotcha.
about that. I can understand judges are normally very hesitant to get involved in cases involving the military for reasons that the military is given wide leeway to police themselves. But that was rather bizarre to claim that it was a workman's comp issue. That's just bizarre.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But that is, if nothing else, it shows where we're at still. It shows where we're at as a country still. It shows where we're at. This is why this is a problem. We cannot, we are so obsessed with, I don't know, not wanting to ruin someone's life, not seeming like the bad guys, whatever, that we are willing to ignore something that is blatant like this because of it. The fact that we cannot come to a straight up agreement that this is not okay and someone needs to be held accountable for it is wild. It's
Well,
wild.
along those lines, Mike, of bizarre outcomes, it's breaking news right now that the ICE agent wanted in Minneapolis for murder has now been released from jail in Texas.
Yep.
Released.
Yep.
Free.
Yep. Extradition denied.
And again, how can we even claim any level of morality as a country when we aren't willing to hold people accountable for doing some of the worst things ever? And I'm not saying, for those of you that are on the same side as me, I know that's not, I'm asking this to people that are on, that understand what I'm saying and agree with what I'm saying. I'm saying this more of a, for any conservatives that might be listening, how can you hold any level of morality when this is what is considered acceptable? We say we're against waste, fraud, and abuse when this president has pardoned people that have been found guilty of those exact things. We say that we are against, illicit substances, and yet we released probably the most well-known and worst, substance trafficker that this country has ever had. We released him, pardoned him. How can we say we care when everything that we do shows that we don't care right now? And the only thing I will say to the people that aren't the people, like the straight up supporters, is there's a whole group of people in the middle that don't support but don't fight against. They just sit there and they let it happen, and they put their blinders on and they keep going about their business. And again, I understand the pull for that. I did not want to get on live today. I'm going to be straight, because of what's going on in Nepal and the fact that someone who's I consider family is there. I did not want to get on live. This is not what I wanted to talk about. This is not what I wanted to do. This is far from it. But it's something that needs to happen. And we need people to get that through their heads.
And pardoning that substance trafficker while simultaneously booming undefined boats in the Pacific and the
Not just a trafficker, Jelly. He was the president of Honduras, who was one of the largest traffickers in the world, and who, in his trial, they played a tape where he said, "Let the gringos choke on it." This is the person that Donald Trump pardoned. Think about that.
And again, when you talk about waste, fraud, and abuse, and people are getting pardoned that have been convicted straight up of fraud and abuse, again, it means nothing. Every statement of complaint against any side means nothing if you are unwilling to hold all sides to the same. That's why I don't listen to the BS from Christians talking about how Christians are being attacked. They're not. They're not. But even if I was willing to accept it, the fact that they aren't willing to see what's happening to other people, other religions, other beliefs by Christians as well means that their statements mean nothing. The same thing with guys. If you're not willing to hold guys accountable for doing things, then don't expect to be supported or have your opinion accepted when you're complaining about the same general idea.
I feel the same way with the confirmations that we've had. They're, oh, last administration this, oh, Biden that, oh, all of this. And they're like, we need to fix that. But at the same time, they're putting people even worse in place as almost like retribution or something in their eyes. I don't know.
Good morning, Ty. Good morning, America. I am struggling today, but I'm not the only one struggling today. So I'm focusing on what I have control over, or at least trying to, and trying not to pay attention too much to things that I have straight up no control over.
Mike, are we saying the Serenity Prayer?
No. But yes. But no. Treating immigrants who are Christians the way our country is not. I mean, it's not humanity behavior. It's not humanity behavior. This is the part that bugs me. It's like the things that we, as whether you're talking a religion or you're just talking an American, or should be a humanity thing. These are human beings. It has nothing to do with sin. I'm sorry. We can put blame on everything all we want. I'm not going to sit here and point fingers at something that allows me or anyone else to not own it. Again, regardless of whether it's true or not, those statements are used as a way to avoid accountability. The problem isn't us, the problem is sin. I can't count how many times I've heard that bullshit. I'm sorry. And I'm not sorry. These are people. These are people, living, breathing people that should be treated and cared for the way we would want to be treated and cared for in that respect. If you were struggling to pay your bills for no reason of your own, you didn't do anything wrong, it was just the dumb luck of life, how would you want to be treated? Would you want to be treated with respect and humanity? Or would you want to be treated the way so many in this country are treating them right now? And that's what I have to tell myself every single day. Rough news from Texas? Yes, very rough news from Texas.
I saw just now about Nepal, like, oh, Marnie, Nepal's government for the flood a bit. I really don't know much of anything, but we need to realize that natural disasters are getting worse and worse and worse all over the world. And that is climate change. That is global warming.
And that is science. Exactly right, Jelly. That's science. It's no longer disputable.
But yeah, if you haven't seen the videos of what's going on, first time I saw the video, I thought
Something out of a movie.
I thought it was
My
AI.
God.
I thought it was AI. And then I saw that it was Reuters that put it up, and I was like, that's not AI. And then I started looking at other things. I was like, it's just it. And again, this kind of stuff in some way, shape, or form is happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. And the people that are running things in most of the world are just trying to pretend like none of it's happening.
Well, take a look at the wildfires occurring in our own neck of the woods, the northern hemisphere. It's one thing after another. Take a look at the extended heat waves.
Yep.
Take a look
But
at
in
the
Europe, no matter.
Colorado River running out of water.
Yep. Yeah. And, you know, it's sad to think that chances are we're all going to be suffering for, even if we as a globe passed some sort of law rule that everyone would fall under and be held to get ourselves back to, you know, more safety. It would be a long time before we could get there. Like, this is not, again, just like fixing our country, this is not a snap your fingers and fix the problem thing. It's a we are going to suffer because of the idiocy of those that came before us, or those that are older than us right now. Nobody deserves it. Nobody. I'm sorry, nobody deserves what happened over there. I wouldn't wish what happened on my worst enemy. That's not a kind of accountability that I would be okay with.
And with the global warming, it's an exponential problem. This isn't it started off slow, but it grows exponentially as our ice caps are melting. It's not, it started off a slow process, but now they're saying that salt water is getting underneath the ice into little like caverns and whatnot. And so the ice is no longer just melting from above. It's melting from below as well. So we're going to see more and more of this, and we cannot act fast enough to stop any of it. The protections we tried to put in place for our environment, to slow carbon output, obviously wasn't enough. And now we have people like Donald Trump and other people around the world that are like, oh no, it's not that big a deal. Let's take away the EPA regulations. This is going to continue to grow. And like I said, it's an exponential growth. It's not just a add and subtract kind of growth.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jelly. You summed it up perfectly. And I might add that he has cut funding for solar and wind power. That not only helps environmentally, but we have an electricity shortage in this country. So we picked the exact wrong time to cut back on renewable sources of energy.
Yeah, and it's not like we even said we're not going to add more than we've already added. We have actively stopped building that was already going on and paid them extra to stop building what was already going on. Like,
That's the thing that gets me. We are shelving out billions of dollars to stop projects that were near completion, so that why? For what purpose? So that we don't have enough electricity, so that we continue to harm the environment. Uh, and we're paying billions of dollars for the privilege of doing that. How, how does that make any sense at all?
I mean, again, this administration, what's new? Nothing makes sense. Literally
And
nothing.
also, while we're experiencing this warming, extended heat waves, extended droughts, we have rivers and lakes that have been supplying us fresh water and hydroelectricity that are drying out, and they want to put data centers that use up even more. So, I mean, just the process they're going through is just nuts.
So, Philip, our oil reserves, in terms of our ability to react to emergencies, are getting very low. Our oil reserve as a whole is actually fine. Again, if you want someone to look to Mr. Global, he talks about it. We're not going to run out of oil. We're not going to run out. The prices will go up, but we're not going to run out. The only danger we are going to experience is when major events happen that cause a disruption. It's going to affect us more than it would have if our reserve was higher.
Yeah, and that's only half the equation again. And I'm also quoting Mr. Global. The other half is that our refining capacity worldwide is way down due to Ukraine wiping out Russia, 30% of Russia's refining capacity, and the Iranians knocking out refining capacity in the Persian Gulf. That has dropped overall world refining capacity about 10%, and that we didn't have a 10% buffer. So that means that we're in real trouble, and that's going to raise the price of everything, especially diesel.
And what is exactly the benefit of those data centers? So here's the thing that we need, and here's the problem. I think there is a place in society for AI getting us to a point where humans aren't doing jobs that are dangerous for humans. And for that, you need data centers, at least to get us to the point where we could have it do more things. The problem right now is the reason we're making it is not to actually help society. It's to make rich people more money. That's the problem when it comes down to it. We're not putting regulations on AI. We're not doing anything. We're not trying to actually set it up where data centers and AI can do things to make it so we're not working 5 to 7 day weeks and being able to pay our bills. There's a lot of people and ideas that have been out there. That's like, we use AI to do those things that hurt people in some way and make it so people don't have to work 40 hours or more. What's up? How you doing? And where the problem is we're not doing that right now. And it's not going to happen until we put regulations on it. What's good? This is one of those struggle days for me. But, I'm still able to wake up and be here and do this, which a lot of people can't. So, as much as there are things going on in my life right now that make it hard for me to focus on stuff, I also am blessed. our oil reserve is why gas is not $10 a gallon. Correct. Yes. Our oil reserve is exactly why our gas is not even more expensive. And if we use up too much of our reserve, like our national reserve, it will go from oil will be more. Oil will will shoot up. We won't run out. American manufacturers, people that convert oil into whatever they do, will have to start competing against what Europe and South America and all these other countries pay for our oil in order to get it so we can turn it into the things that we need here. And as long as we're having to keep doing that, as long as that's the case, it will go up. It will go up in price because, you know, when you've got a system that is set up as for profit and not nationalized, you know, again, people like to say they want the government out of things, but there are positives to having government in certain things. It guarantees the prices are going to be lower, because if it's not about making extra money, not about making profit for shareholders, they can charge less.
Now, excuse me. I have a thought or a concern, and maybe Mr. Global has already talked about it, but I haven't seen it yet. But you know, like Scott was saying, you know, we have less refineries now, and it could become even less after that. But my thing is, you know, our reserves are getting low. They're still there. We still have access to them, but I wonder if we might get to a point where the 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 refineries are going to have to work harder to get the oil refined to where it needs to be, or if we're going to end up lower quality oil. And that's just a question, and maybe it's a question for Mr. Global, but
Uh,
it's a small concern for me.
Well, yeah, refining capacity again is down 10% worldwide, which is actually a huge number. And that is going to, as Mike said, not mean that we run out of oil, just mean we're going to be spending a lot more for it, especially if this 10% shortfall continues long term. The prices are going to go up exponentially. It's a lot, Jilly, like you were talking about environmental concerns that are compounding. It's the same principle here. And when you read that we have 40% of our National Reserve, Strategic Petroleum Reserve, SPR, when you read that it's 40% full, that's a little bit misleading, because the way we get oil out of the caverns is to pump water underneath it. It rises the oil up, and then we suck out the oil. At a certain point, and we don't know when that point is because we've never faced this problem before, we've never had reserves this low. At a certain point, the water starts mixing with the oil, and you can't touch that stuff. So while they're 40% full, it may only be like a 10% buffer.
Yep.
Because once you get down to 30%, the water starts to mix with the oil, and that makes it rather impossible.
But, you know, all of these oil companies, they have their own reserves that have nothing to do with the strategic reserve, and they've got a lot in reserve. The problem is it's their oil, so they can decide how much they want to release at what time, whenever they want. So again, when you commodify something, when you have something like oil, which is used for things that we need to literally survive, by the very nature of the system we've created, it's going to make prices higher, because companies are about making as much money as they can. They could give a rat's ass about our actual survivability. That's just the way it is. They don't care. They care about how much money they can make. And as long as that's the case, we will continue to suffer, unfortunately.
Yeah, this war in Iran really only has one winner. Nobody else has been a winner, and I think the one winner is Mr. Global. His page has exploded because a lot of us are turning to him to get our information on the markets.
What's up? There is a report out there saying that places like Saudi Arabia lied about how much they had in their reserve. Yes. But nothing, the reserve, we aren't down to a certain number of days. That is when they say that, the thing that people don't hear is that that's assuming nothing, that we don't produce any more oil ever. The fact is we are producing oil, a lot of it. So when you hear specific, like, we have 40 days left of oil. No, we don't. No, we don't. We've got plenty of oil. What we are going to experience is potential suffering if and when catastrophic events happen that we cannot react to correctly or well. That is where you will see the suffering from the strategic reserve being gone or near gone.
Yeah, and don't focus as much on the price of a barrel of oil because that fluctuates, and that's the futures price. It's not the price today that you would have to pay for a barrel of oil. But the real issue is the distillates and what are our reserves of diesel, what are our reserves of gasoline, natural gas, etc. You have to, because we don't drive on oil, we drive on gasoline or we drive on diesel. For those who don't have electric vehicles. And, that's the number that you have to keep an eye on because that's the immediate crisis.
Yep. The world, and especially the United States, runs on diesel. That's what our transportation for all of our supplies, food as well as regular commodities, they all get transported in diesel trucks. So that brings up, a big problem. Scott, correct me if I'm wrong. Wouldn't most farm equipment also run on diesel?
Yes. In fact, you've raised a very good point. The inflationary pressures of the cost of diesel are spread throughout the entire economy, not just on the cost of diesel alone. They're spread out in our cost of food, our Amazon deliveries. Every single thing you get is trucked, or not every single thing. Most things you get are trucked, and trucks run on diesel. So this has an inflationary effect that will spread throughout the economy. And let's not forget that 50% of the world's nitrogen-based fertilizers, which is the good fertilizer, come through the Persian Gulf. So you can just ask any farmer, their cost of fertilizer in the late spring exploded, and those costs will be passed on to the American consumer when they harvest in the fall. And this is, so the inflationary pressures really relate to the cost of fertilizer, which will be spread out to food and beef prices and chicken, et cetera, and the cost of delivery of goods in the United States and throughout the world, which relies primarily on diesel. And that is where the loss of refining capacity in the Persian Gulf and in Russia have hurt.
I had another question, but I can't remember now. Oh, yeah, getting our fertilizer and whatnot from overseas. But wasn't potash also a form of fertilizer for us?
Yes, it's used.
So,
It's
and
and we get that from Canada, or we used to.
right.
Sorry, I needed more coffee really bad. Been one of those
No
days,
worries.
guys. Yes, the US doesn't own any. We own what's in the strategic reserve. That is all that the United States owns. If oil companies, if people drill more oil, they own it. The United States doesn't. That's why anytime you hear the president saying, or anybody saying, the yawning was making you sleepy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not sleep well last night. So I apologize for that. I'm going to do some stuff to try and wake up, and then I'm going to go live again probably tonight, or hang out with some people. There's some different things that I might do. But if I end up going live, I'll probably do music or something to keep me moving.
I recommend some jumping jacks or some head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Well, I'm going to be mowing the lawn, so.
Well, if that doesn't work, a bottle of scotch will fix you up just fine. It's worked for me in the past.
U.S. oil companies are making a very nice profit. Possibly espresso shots. Caffeine doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. Like, a lot of what having coffee does is mentally waking me up, not actually waking me up. Like, I can have caffeine and then go right to sleep at night and sleep through the night. Espresso martini. There you go, Lacey. Oh, man. Keeps me awake. If you have too much, gives you the jitters. Yeah, that's what it does for a lot of people. Just never done that for me. Very much. By the way, the news about our head of CIA going over to Moscow and trying to be like, you better not, and then leaving
Well,
the same day.
we really don't know why Secretary or Director Radcliffe went over to Russia. The last time a CIA, it's not unprecedented. It has happened before. In 2021, CIA Director Brennan went to Russia to warn them not to invade Ukraine. So my guess, but it's only a guess. Nobody knows why Radcliffe went. The administration's keeping mum about it. The Russians are keeping mum about it. And I can understand that. My guess is that a CIA director wouldn't go over there except to deliver a warning. We must have picked something up in chatter that the Russians were planning, and we were telling them that no, this won't work.
Well, yeah, supposedly a cache of Russian weapons were found in Germany. And there was a lot of chatter about Russia doing something to NATO to try and get I don't know what they were trying to do. I mean, we can guess what they were trying to do, but
it could be anything, and I doubt we're ever going to find out. And by the way, I'm okay with that. I don't think this is something that should be that the American people have to know.
No.
But the mere fact that it wasn't a lickspittle like Steve Witkoff or Little Jared or somebody like that, but it was the head of our CIA going over, who might be the only person in the Trump administration who is not pro-Russian, that speaks volumes and tends to give the impression that it's exactly what you said, Mike, that they got caught doing something, and before it blows up, we're telling them you can't do this.
Yeah. I only see the oligarchy getting richer. I think they will. I think, at least in terms of our current country. I think we are going to be sitting in the situation that we're in for a little bit longer. I think we are at the tipping point, but I think the numbers need to tip a little bit more in terms of people that are pre-internet for most of their life being out of the voting pool, and people that are post-internet getting into the voting pool. I think that is an unfortunate reality that we are living with right now, is that there are just too many people that are living in the dream world of somehow that because they succeeded, that that is somehow something that they did, and not the reality that people cannot succeed in a majority of our country. Our younger people, no matter how hard they work, they will not succeed. Not because of, again, not because they're lazy, not because of lack of work, but because of the way the world was made. And I don't think we'll get past it until the numbers skew a little bit more. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope things just start changing, but I don't see it happening. Safety nets are not corrupted. Immigrants do not use most of the social safety nets that exist. Like a vast majority of the social safety nets that exist in this country do not get touched by any immigrant whatsoever. And the fact that you're still peddling that bullshit is part of the problem, which is why nothing's getting fixed, because the people you're blaming doesn't help fix the problem. No, they aren't stealing our tax dollars. They put more money into the system than they take. Like vastly more. Immigrants put so much more money into the tax system than they take.
Yeah, Jersey, could you explain to chat just how they are stealing our tax dollars? What tax dollars are they stealing? Could you explain that, please? I mean, are they getting Social Security? Are they getting Medicare? Would you explain that, please?
That's not even close to true. It is close to true in terms of the amount of money into not only just paying in taxes, but into our Social Security, into our social safety nets that immigrants put in is vastly more than what they take out. Like, it's not even comparable how much more they put in than what they take out. They don't use those.
They're not
SNAP, WIC,
eligible.
all of those things, those aren't available to undocumented immigrants.
At the very most, what you will see going toward undocumented immigrants is that there are some states that will use a small portion of state funds, not federal, to offer assistance. And that assistance would be minimal.
Jersey, you're blinded by bias because you cannot wrap your head around the fact that it's everything that people are telling you just isn't true.
Well, Jersey, I had asked you to name programs that the undocumented are taking from us, stealing from us, as you put it. And you mentioned SNAP and WIC. Well, congratulations, you had a 50-50 shot and you blew it. They're not eligible for either one of those. So you have a plan B here as to what they're stealing from us? Because so far everything you've named is 100% wrong.
Real Americans are not getting drugged down by undocumented immigrants. We're being drugged down by the ultra wealthy who pay shit, who own everything, and pay very little in taxes in comparison to their wealth. The fact that you are blaming undocumented immigrants is the problem. You cannot seem to accept. You have been taught to other so much that you are literally ignoring reality to hate people that aren't the problem. Basically, robber barons. Yes, we are dealing with a new wave of robber barons and the Gilded Age 2.0. We are in the Gilded Age again. Straight up.
The only people, the only people stealing our tax dollars are corporations and the government by misappropriating our funds.
You can't have suicidal empathy, and it can't cost us the republic. You don't seem to comprehend what empathy is.
Amazing that someone could go through life that amazingly ignorant of facts and then talk as if he knew the facts.
Mm-hmm.
That's just amazing to me. Really is.
Probably someone thinks that you can have empathy towards a person, which you can't. You cannot have empathy towards a person. By the very nature of what empathy is, you cannot have empathy towards a person. But most people think that you can. He just said his piece and left, so. Or he's still there listening. But he said, have a good day. Enjoy. As though, I don't know. But yes.
Well, on behalf
was?
of the state of New Jersey, I apologize for that.
I mean, like, again, sympathy and apathy are different things. You can lack sympathy for somebody or have sympathy for somebody, but empathy is a personal thing. Empathy is just your willingness and ability to listen to what someone else says, believe them, and try and understand their perspective. That's what empathy is. It's all about you, though. Your willingness and ability to do that. That's all. And I'm not telling you that you should have empathy for anybody, or that you should have empathy. Like, it's not empathy is a taught thing. You teach people to have empathy. You actually, or I should say, you were taught to continue to have empathy. Kids, by their very nature, a vast majority of kids naturally are empathetic. Which is why you see a lot of kids that are willing, when they see someone crying, they want to help them. When they see someone hurting, they want to help them. Like, they just are. And what ends up happening is, as you grow up, adults teach you to ignore those impulses. And we need to get past that, or we will never. That's why I always struggle when people say, I love America. And it's like, America, the United States of America, is a bunch of people. It's a ton of people. A majority of people you don't love America. You love yourself, you love your family, and you love your close friends. And you love your beliefs. That's all you love. You don't actually love America, because America, the United States of America, is made up of all different kinds of people with all different kinds of beliefs, with all different kinds of perspectives. And if you lack empathy, you don't have the capability of actually living in what our society actually is, which is millions upon millions of people that see the world very differently.
And sorry, hold on. Sorry. With kids, they don't notice differences in other people. It doesn't matter if you have a child who is healthy and whatnot. They don't see the differences in a disabled kid until, or a kid of another race. They don't see that. Those are just their people, and it's not until they start getting older and their parents and their community start putting these ideas into their head. Like, people are people to kids. Now, I'll tell you though, kids can tell who a bad person is. They can tell. I always say, if you're not sure, how do the kids react? Kids don't like Donald Trump. He creeps them out.
Aw, Lou. How does it feel getting on all your feels? It must be painful to have so many feelings that you need to come into a live of people that you disagree with, and instead of actually taking part in the conversation, make dumb statements like that. That's a feeling problem that you got right there. That's an emotion problem. Oompa Loompas creeped me out as a kid. Oh, the Oompa Loompas were the reason I did not want to watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory growing up. They scared me.
Oh, not nearly as scary as those goddamn flying monkeys in The Wizard of Oz. I still can't watch that friggin' movie. I saw those flying monkeys as a kid, scared the living hell out of me.
And it's just, again, that's one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is trying to figure out how we can get back to what conversations are supposed to be, to how we actually move forward in society. And it just keeps coming back to the same statement. We need to come to an agreement on fundamentals. It's why I keep bringing up, can we agree that being a grapist, no matter what letter is next to your name, is not okay, is unacceptable in society? And that's the problem, is there is a subset of people that don't believe that. And they don't believe it about a lot of things. Pedo is not a line for people. Being a felon is not a line for people. The lives of human beings, living, breathing human beings, is not a line for people. And I know when you're talking about like abortion, they'll say, well, what about the unborn fetus? Again, if we can agree that the lives of parents are just as important, if not, I'll even give you just as important as the life of the fetus. When you hear facts, when you hear lived realities that say the laws that you made to protect the fetus are endangering women, here is my experience, here is why I am getting hurt, and your response is, you're just lying. That didn't actually happen. then we don't actually agree that people's lives are what's important. And that's where the problem comes in. We either agree on the problem, we either agree on the line, or we don't. You want to sit here and say that we should train American society going forward to take the idea of pregnancy more seriously. You want to make a statement like that? I'm all for it. I think there's a lot of things in society that we need to take more seriously than we do. And I think something like pregnancy is something that people need to take seriously. Regardless of what they end up doing if they get pregnant. The fact is we don't take it seriously as a society. So that's fine. You want to have that conversation, we can have that conversation. But if your desire to do that, or for people to not get abortions, overrides the reality of people losing their life, losing their ability to have children, whatever, being arrested because of that thing, then we aren't on the same page about the fact of the importance of life in the first place.
And as far as the potential for losing reproductive organs, these people would rather see a woman lose the chance to, in the future, have more children than terminating the pregnancy that would, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
There's a whole swath of people in this country that are okay with the idea of you having the baby of the person who flat out raped you, regardless of what that mentally would do to you. Even though it's been shown what forcing someone to do that, what it would do to them. Again, you want to have, if we want to have these kind of conversations, if we want to say this is, let's have a discussion about what society in regards to X, Y, and Z look like. We need to agree on the overarching fundamentals, and we need to hold them universally. And if we can't, then no discussion is going to be happening. Nothing is going to get fixed. No change is going to happen. And that's what we've seen, right? This is why we're where we're at. Because we literally have a difference of fundamentals right now. Straight up. There are whole groups of people in this country that many on the right don't even consider human to have the rights of humanity. How can we move forward on that? How can we move forward on any discussion when that is the reality that we're living in? Hey, Ghost. And it's important that we have, these economic discussions. It's important that we have these foreign relation discussions. It's important that we have all of these discussions that we have day in and day out. But the one thing that I keep coming back to, and, the people that come up here probably hear me when I'm saying this, because a lot of us experience it every single day. There are people that are willing to completely ignore everything that I'm saying, not because what I'm saying is wrong, because it because they literally don't agree on the fundamental statement that I am making, that all people, no matter your race, religion, gender, or identity, deserve rights, respect, dignity, and safety. Like they don't even align with that line. You know, my line is here, whatever, and their line is vastly more specific. Very specific people deserve those rights. Very specific people that believe very specific things, deserve the kind of protections that all humans should get for being human. Holy contradiction. Are you talking about the one with the civilian engineer on the ship with the captain? Or are you talking about something else different? Because we've talked about that a couple times today. If that's the one you're talking about, I think no. Oh, okay. But in the end, that's where we need to get to. That's where we need to get to. And in the end, I'm probably going to be saying it till I'm blue in the face. And even longer after. Yeah, it is the one that I was talking about. The Navy captain SA lawsuit against that has the lawsuit against them on behalf of Elsie Dominguez, who was a civilian engineer. Yeah. 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 That's why she was on the ship to begin with, because she is an engineer. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely disgusting. Made me want to throw my phone through a window.
What was that? Was that a federal judge, Mike? Or was it a state judge?
Let's see if I can find.
I'm guessing federal because you're suing the military. So I'm guessing federal, but I'm not sure.
Mike, was that your second almost phone toss in the last 7 days? 'Cause I
Yes.
think that was your.
Yep.
While Mike's looking that up, yes, Jeff, I did see that. That was disgusting. Stars and Stripes has always been given a wide berth and independence within the military, but I guess that's done with now too, along with so many other things.
Oh, so the reason there was no criminal case was because according to this, was the captain surrendered his merchant marine credentials. I don't know why that prevented it from being able to do it, but trying to find.
I mean, that's, one would think it beggars belief that he would make a statement like that this should be a workman's comp case. That's just mind-blowing to me.
Even within the military itself, SA is a punishable offense, right?
U.S. District Judge Edward S. Keel of the U.S. District Court for New Jersey.
That's bizarre. That's bizarre. And again, as I stated before, Mike, I do understand the predilection of courts in military matters to allow the military to adjudicate themselves. But this was beyond the pale, what he did.
Mm-hmm. And again, do I think there should be workman's comp too? Sure. Doesn't change the overriding fact of what happened. And that there should be that there should be something to that. Again, if the reaction, if the result is just he loses his job and she needs to get paid workman's comp for it, that's not justice. It's not justice.
Yeah, it's not an either or thing. That's the whole point. It's not either or. You may be entitled to workman's comp, but that doesn't mean that your lawsuit is frivolous.
Well, I understand workman's comp is for accident. I'm just saying this, as Scott said, we're just saying it's not an either or situation. It's this is not it's just, you can have the discussion about workman's comp, but also they should be in prison.
Yeah, the whole thing is completely nauseating. I'm being gentle with that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say Aaron's comment in chat is right on point. Women in military have been talking about how SA is treated in the military for years. You're exactly right, Aaron. That's exactly the point.
Mm-hmm. And that's the frustration. That was the anger that I had, is that it's like we took, again, it's as though we're fighting against the old guard. The old guard, the old mentality is trying to take things back to the way they were, and we're fighting against it. And it's sad that at this point in time, after everything that's happened, that we're still fighting against it. Well, the employer, yeah, I don't know who they actually, again, it doesn't matter. The more important thing, other than who is considered responsible, is that he's getting out of any criminal liability for it. That's the ultimate issue, is that there is no criminal liability for it.
That we know of, yeah. I mean, as you said before, Mike, maybe JAG is looking into it. I don't know. If they're not, they should be.
Apparently, the U.S. agreed to not forcing English-only labels on products going to Canada. Okay. I'm not saying, this administration is just such an idiot. I feel like every 5 minutes something they've done or said just makes me just go, they're idiots. And that's it. They're just all idiots. I'm glad it's Thursday. One more day, and then at least get a couple days to relax some.
Economy. I'm going to share a story.
Okay.
So my partner has been working with his company for 17 years. And for the last 7, he has been a supervisor in his specialty. And they just did their cost of living raise for the next year, 3%. 17 years in his industry with experience. If you include his bonus along with his yearly salary, he still makes only $93,000 a year. 17 years of his life. And with only a 3% raise, with inflation, I don't know where it is, but I know it's over 4%. How? Sorry, that's my rant. But that's what we're
Well,
looking at right now.
I'll tell you how they're making a bet that he has no place else to go.
Yep.
That's the bet that
Oh
they're
yeah,
making.
that's what they've been. Yeah, and it's been going on for a few years, but this year was just a complete slap in the face. Last year was too. So he's on the lookout. I was like, time to go, honey. Time to go. Oh man, perfectly. That
I've, you know, my wife has considered whether or not to keep working at the place. She stays in it because of the healthcare that we get through it. And you know, there's multiple problems. One, the biggest one is there just aren't a billion jobs everywhere. So it's like the idea of getting a new job when this one is at least stable is not the right word, but she's in a situation where she's probably a little more stable than other people in where she's working. And we don't want to sell this house. We have very low, we have a low mortgage, we have very low interest rates. And the idea of like, if she left and we decided to go somewhere else is like, we wouldn't want to go to a 6.5% interest rate on a new 30-year mortgage.
No, that's financially not advantageous to either one of you. And you brought something up because it is a way of life, and it shouldn't be. Your wife, the main consideration about staying or leaving is the fact she needs that health care.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we had single payer health care, Medicare for all, whatever label you want to give it, she wouldn't have to worry about that because healthcare is taken care of right off Jump Street. She could choose a job based upon the job itself,
Mm-hmm.
not on healthcare and the need for healthcare. Now, multiply that over how many people in America cannot change jobs because they must have that healthcare.
Yep. I mean, just look at companies. How many small businesses don't get formed because of healthcare? How many businesses have to hire less people because the amount of money that they need to subsidize healthcare to make it affordable for people is practically, in most businesses, is practically the equivalent of a second salary.
now my partner's company, they actually started their own health insurance. So employees, of course, can get that, or they can go to the ACA based on what's more affordable for them. But their premiums are like super, super low. And so that's another thing that keeps him there because he can't imagine paying $6, $8, $1,200 a month just for health insurance.
Yeah, and now that the subsidies have been cut from the ACA, that further dampens the ability to have a portable workforce. It's a double-edged sword.
Now, lucky thing for us is like we don't own anything here in North Carolina. So a relocation, if they give us a reload package, then we're good to go. But you know, That's if he can find something better than what he has. Hey, Papa Shug!
If you employ under a certain amount of people, you can't even provide an employer-sponsored plan because the insurance companies won't let you too small. Yep. Again, which is why it's just wild. Like, the only way most people can have small businesses now is either one person is willing to work at a place that provides it, or you as a family are willing to just go without it completely. And hope and pray, which most people aren't that lucky these days. Unless you're 20 and just happen to be a healthy person. Thank you, Canada Goose. Thank you, everybody. It's just never ending, and it's frustrating. And you guys you sure have seen it. This is why I always think it's funny when people are like, "You're so calm." I'm like, no, I get frustrated. And I'll get more and more frustrated, and then I will let it out doing something, and then I'll be good again. But it's just I do not want to delete it. It's okay that I got really bad reviews on it. I don't care. I don't care what they think.
And honestly, Mike's just saying what's on a lot of people's minds about it. He just opened his mouth. That's all.
I have been doing this for a long time, and for every time I've had a video taken down because of people didn't like what I was going to have to say, only one has not been put back up. Only one. Because I'm very particular with how I say things. I can't force how people read it or how people hear it, but I am very particular about how I say it. And I do it in such a way where, yeah, people get angry at it. I knew people would get angry at it, but it was true. It was exactly what I was thinking. Bien, it's on both. It's just a short, like 30-second thing. Basically saying the fact that we lost someone as amazing as Dolly Parton before you know who is a crime against humanity, in my opinion.
And Tim Curry. But you know what? There's still hope, Mike. They say things happen in threes. So
That was 2 80-year-olds. I was about to say something. It's gone.
But yeah, it's not a surprise to me that people didn't like it. It's not a question of whether people like it or not. The weird thing actually for me is the people that have had the worst reaction to it have been on the tube to that video. Like, it's been the reactions in the comment section of the tube video have been kind of wild to me compared to the other two other places that I posted it at the same time.
I remember now. If anything has taught us over the last 10 to 15 years, is that people are only going to hear and react to the words they want to.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
There's
so yeah,
a whole lot of taking things out of context.
the voice of Optimus Prime and Winnie and Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh passed away today at 85.
Aww. We grew up with that.
It is the calm of someone who's done. You know, I had to realize, because when I first started doing this, I used to pay attention to what people commented all the time. For those of you that remember in the Twitch days, it was easy to have people's ideas of me affect, just like it affected a lot of us. The mentality, I can read the comments now because I don't care anymore. Someone that lacks that, like completely lacks humanity or empathy, which is what I'm usually talking about. Patty! Someone who lacks empathy and humanity to that level, I feel bad for them. Because that's a sad life. To care about other people so little that you can hear that people are suffering and have it not affect you and be okay with it. Like, I made a video talking about the fact that during the quote unquote protest by Jake Lang in Michigan, how someone was walking with them with a schmatzi flag, and there were people coming in the chat going, I'm okay with that. Like, what? There is no, like, why would I care about what someone who hates other people so much, why would I care what they think? No, they think that Muslims are more dangerous than schmatzis.
Well, maybe they better have a talk with Poland. They might disagree.
So that's why I don't care anymore. That's why when people come in and make fun of me or, attack me, try to attack me personally, 90% of the time, I don't care. When you hear me go, just, okay, like, that's literally what I'm thinking. I'm like, it's sad. It's sad. It's so sad that you can be such a bad person that the first thing you do when you come in is attack the person who's talking. And what they're talking about is that I care about people. And I care about people so much that I think we should be doing more to take care of people. And yet somehow I'm the dangerous one. That's wild to me. Or the fact that those same people can hate a group and not realize that their hating of a group of people is equivalent to some of the worst periods in world history.
I think one of the most painful things too has been, especially in the last couple of years, is having friends and family that you thought were good people. And then now they're defending this kind of stuff. And it's like, I've known you my entire life.
Yeah.
And I thought you were a good person. And now you're
Sure.
supporting this. I think that's been the most heartbreaking and the hardest thing to process.
Well,
throughout
and
all of it.
it comes down to, and Scott was obviously there in those lives after the 2024 election. There was a period for about a week after where I was just sitting here having, all of us were having to sit there and just process the reality that for the first time, it really clicked that as a whole, we aren't as good as we thought we were. There was always this part, I was always taught personally that when push came to shove, people as a whole were good people. And when someone took a step like J6 or all the other things that have come out that this person who is now president has done, that the inherent goodness of people would prevail. And that's what I was taught, and that's what I hoped for beyond hope come the 2024 election. And I had to come to the realization that for at minimum, you know, around 80 million people, that's not true.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, the overarching lesson of the 2024 election was that the 2016 election was not a fluke. This is who we are.
And, you know, again, which is why I don't stress over it. When someone comes in and I am always willing to interact to begin with the hope that people are willing to have a conversation. When it comes out that they're not, I don't lose any sleep over it after that. Like I'm done. I moved on. That doesn't mean I won't talk about what they say sometimes, because sometimes it's worth talking about it if they're just willing to keep helping my algorithm. But in the grand scheme of things, for certain people, if they're gone for good after, like if Aaron or Ghost or whatever or Shug are like, they're done, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I mean, I know we need to work within the algorithm to try and keep growing. But in the end, why would I lose an ounce of sleep for a person or spend an extra minute of my already limited time on a person that hates people for no other reason than who they love, how they live, what they believe, or the color of their skin? That, like, why would I care what someone like that thinks of me? And you know, that unfortunately is something that we as a lot of people need to wrap our heads around. Because in the desire to not seem bad, we've allowed some of the worst ideas in human history to continue in the guise of freedom of speech or agree to disagree. Well, I don't agree to disagree that a person, no matter their race, religion, gender, or identity, deserve rights, respect, dignity, and safety. That's not an agree to disagree. It's not. 100% not. Oh, I was just saying, Ghost, if you end up dropping or like muting or blocking people because of stuff that they say, I'm not going to lose any sleep over them being gone. Freedom of speech, but not freedom from the consequences of what you say. Yeah, but and yes, 100%. That is the statement that we use, but we've expanded it to a point where we think that every voice, every idea, every opinion deserves a platform. Which is why I don't bring everybody up. Which is why I'm willing, I'm actively say I will not bring you up if you don't align at minimum with my fundamentals. Because if you believe that certain people don't get if you believe that certain people don't have hello.
Brighten up the day, son. Ask Chad how they're doing.
How do him?
Yeah, look at him. Talk to him, son. Sir.
He's busy.
He is. He ain't got time for this. I just wanted to brighten y'all's day up a little bit.
I
Yes, sir.
appreciate that.
Chat, what are you doing?
I did say Chat, what you doing? You were supposed to say Chat, what you doing?
You say supposed to say that what you're doing.
I am actually in love right now.
Oh,
You
Are you? supposed to do that?
Say hi, Jelly. Hi, Scott.
Wait. Wait, is it
Hi.
Scott there?
Yeah, Scott's right there. See?
I'm on the
And Jelly's
bottom,
right here.
Yes.
all the way down
And
on the
then
bottom.
I'm right here. And me and Daddy right there.
That's right. That's
Yes.
who we are.
They're supposed to us.
There you go.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
See?
Yes.
Look now look. How can 77 million people vote against this little fella right here?
I don't know.
They didn't see him.
Hello,
That's it.
Cat. What are you doing?
There you go. All right. All right, little handsome.
Yes.
That's enough for now. Go ahead and do your thing.
But yeah, it's, you know, we've got, just because people can have opinions doesn't mean every place that we should allow those to have voice. We've talked about it before. It's why I'm against Newsom being president. Not because I literally think it's impossible for him to do a good job. Do I believe he will? No, not really. Do I think he'd be better than Trump? Yes, but I'm not going to support him in the primaries.
Mike, that's a low bar.
I understand that, but I mean, that's almost every Republican right now. Do I think he'd be better than almost every Republican? Yes, I do. At this moment, I have yet to see someone. But when he brought in Kirk to his platform and allowed him to say some despicable things about the trans community and gave him voice and didn't push back against it, that shouldn't be allowed, because it goes against the fundamentals. It goes against the what we should all be standing for, is that that kind of mentality about life, about people, should not be given voice, should not be given a platform, because allowing it to have a platform gives it credence. That's why there are so many people that are okay with some of the most wretched ideas that are out there, not because it's true, not even because there's a part of them that, not that because people agree with them, but because it's been allowed to be platformed so often that they've been allowed to actually consider it an acceptable idea.
I think.
Mike, unfortunately, I have to drop down.
Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing me up as always. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Jelly. Thank you, Papa. Always good to share some space with you guys.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And I just have a real busy day tomorrow, and I have
Sure.
to do some prep work.
Yeah. Have a good one, man.
You too.
So yeah. We've got to figure our way past this. We've got to figure our way past this to come to a point of agreement on what actually matters in life.
I have to say though, with Newsom, one of the biggest things, and probably the only really great thing, was his ability to troll. I think we needed a little bit of that, the willingness to come out there and just completely troll. But other than that, I
Sure,
just think
but
that the timing was good on that, but that doesn't make him a good choice,
well,
right?
that a willingness to troll doesn't make you a good president. That doesn't mean you're going to be able to, because again, what's it going to take to fix? It is a perfect mentality to fight against the idiocy that is this president. That is the trolling a troll, beautiful. More
Right.
power to it. But to take that step from social media to I am now the president, it loses all it. You can't do that. because again,
Right.
there's a reason that what this current president is doing is so divisive, because that mentality of the way you interact with people doesn't work on the world stage.
Exactly. Like the trolling was great. The timing of the trolling was great. But like you said, and I agree 100%, that doesn't make you a great candidate, right?
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that he was willing to get out there and be like, "Oh, I can stoop to your level for a minute." Um, and I think that gave some Democrats just a little bit more courage to come out. But
Sure.
no, I agree. I don't think he's, you know, on the top.
And again, I don't mind the petty playground insults when that's what's being done the other direction. I don't mind a taste of your own medicine in those kind of cases, because you gotta, you know, I don't fully agree with the perspective of, you know, they go low, you go high when it comes to that kind of thing. When where I always am the, you know, when they go low, we need to go high, is when we're talking about things that can escalate to a point of endangering people. It's why I don't like what when we see Trump doing things that is endangering people, and then you get people on the more progressive side saying we need to fight fire with fire, because especially right now, considering who's in charge, we've got a group of people that have no line, right? They have no line. So what's going to happen when we go down to their current line? They're going to go to a lower line. And then we're going to convince ourselves we need to go to that line. And then they're going to go to an even lower line. Because when you're going up against someone that has no line, why do you think it's going to end at whatever line you went to the first time? So again, I think fighting back, playing by the rules isn't working. How is playing by not by the rules going to work when you're talking about fundamentals, though? If you doing what you're doing goes against your fundamentals because they're already going against your fundamentals, then what's the point of fundamentals in the first place? What are we doing here? There's got to be a line. There's got to be a line, and there's got to be a line that you're willing to stick to, even though it pisses you off every second of every single day that they don't have a line.
I want to say too, we have a president who is literally trolling the entire world. So if we continue to stay at that level of trolling against him and the Republican Party, we're not going to get anywhere. You know, we have to show the rest of the world that we're mature adults.
And when we say playing by the rules isn't working, I would argue that in most cases, we haven't really been trying. And again, we're dealing with people that in many cases don't have a line. So arguably, it wouldn't matter. Like playing by the rules or not playing by the rules, would we actually fix anything other than make ourselves seem less credible because we don't have because we've gotten rid of our line? Again, I'm not saying it's like this easy black and white thing. You just look at a situation and go, oh, you do that. Oh, you don't do that. That's not what I'm saying, because that's not reality. Every decision, every perspective, every response, everything is more than black and white. It's always more than black and white. There's always a lot of thought and a lot of intentionality that's going to need to be done for any response, especially against this administration. You know, war has shown us many things in life over the years. And one of the biggest is the second you you get rid of your line to go down to them to quote unquote fight fire with fire, you lose the moral superiority. You lose a part of yourself. Civility politics, and I'm totally for not being civil. I have no issue with that. Civility is different. Whoever fights monsters must take care not to become one. Yeah. And it's really easy. It's really easy to become that which you say you hate. When you feel like you're fighting for your life. Totally get it. Totally get it. And I'm in no way saying that I somehow have all the answers in this, because I can tell you right now that I don't. I don't know where that line is always. I will get that line wrong as much, if not sometimes more, than I get it right. That's not the point. The point is, if everybody that's having the discussion agrees on the premise of the fundamentals, then a conversation can be had about where we go at every step of the way. And that's where I'm tired of being nice. I am no way of saying we need to be nice. You know me, Jeff. Am I nice to everybody? I in no way think the response is we need to be nice. We need to be aware. You're nicer than I am. Well, every conversation, different people are going to need different kinds of people to reach to them. I'm my perspective, my approach to things is not going to be right for everybody. Just like your approach is not going to be right for everybody. Just like Jellies, just like Shugs. Everybody has the potential of speaking to different people in different ways. When it comes down to it, though, we need to agree on the fundamentals before we can start. So, all right, guys. I am going to head out. I will be probably back on in some way, shape, or form later tonight. I'm not sure exactly how yet, but you're going to start seeing me more twice a day, a couple days a week, at least on TikTok, because of this organization that I'm with, that I need to get hours. I need to do a certain amount of hours every month and things like that. And it will help me make more money, which will make it more plausible for me to survive. Guys, if you are over here on TikTok, just so you know, I go live over on the Tube and on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you can sub, and you don't sub over there already, you can sub for free over on Twitch. Makes it possible for me to survive and keep doing what I'm doing. As well as watching the interviews that I do over on the Tube. Every time you guys watch it, even if you rewatch the same ones again and again and again, that helps. It helps. So if you have the capability, it helps give them name recognition and visibility. It helps make it possible for me to, maybe hire somebody someday to do some of the stuff. It helps me pay Veda at the end of the year to do my taxes. You guys are helping make it possible for me to pay my accountant to do my work, to do some of the work that's necessary. So you're helping a small business. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day if I don't see you tonight. And if I do, we'll go do something fun. I'm not sure what, but we'll do something fun. You guys are amazing just as we are, and I love you all very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Remember to sing, laugh, dance, smile. Do something that makes you happy. Bye, guys.